All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and I've been going through a series of video presentations, or creating a series of video presentations based on some of the work that's done by Mr. Flavio Copes. Now, you may have never heard of him, but he has written 14 different ebooks, and the ones that I thought were pertinent to what we're doing, those would be, taking it from the top, the HTML handbook, the CSS handbook, the JavaScript Beginner's Handbook, and JavaScript from ES5 to ES Next. I've done those so far, those 4 out of 14. Now I'm going to jump into the React handbook, and after that I'm going to go through the Node handbook and the Express handbook. So that's about half of the 14 that he's written. All right, but I'm here now in the React Beginner's Handbook. This is what's in it. I'm not going to sit and read it to you. It is very much an introduction. And he even says he's going to teach you the 20% of the stuff that you'll use about 80% of the time. So, as it says, the book does not try to cover everything under the sun related to React. It's 40 pages, and a lot of those pages are literally continuations from other pages. So in other words, they're very, very short. All right, so the goal of the book is to provide a starter guide. That's what it does, and I think it does a pretty nice job of it. So when you get done reading the book, these are the things that you can understand. I'm not going to go and read any of them to you. All right. The book is especially oriented to JavaScript programmers new to React. Well, that should be the students that I have in the AWD 1111 class. All right, so that's kind of who this is geared towards, and it's what what we're working on and what we're looking at now towards. All right, so as they say right there, React is a JavaScript library that aims to simplify the development of visual interfaces. All right, it's 8 years old. It drives some of the most widely used apps in the world, powering things like Facebook and Instagram. But its primary goal, as it says right there, is to make it easy to work on and create an interface by taking the interface and breaking it up into a series of components. All right. So the author says here, React in itself is a very small API, and you need to understand 4 concepts to get started. Those being components, JSX, state, and props. And that's what is basically covered in this. Okay, so taking it from the top, what kind of JavaScript do you need in order to use React? Well, it says you should have a good understanding of some core JavaScript concepts. That's why we took some time before we got into this part of the class to go over things like review variables, look at arrow functions for the first time, look at some of the different array methods, such as using REST and spread. Then going in and starting to talk JSON and things like object and variable destructuring. Template literals we looked at before, but we looked at them again. Looking at things like callbacks. And then finally, these 3 things, which are pretty much kind of bundled together, those being callbacks, which have pretty much been replaced with promises, which in many ways have been replaced with async await. And then talking about ES modules. And again, that's what the author recommends and says really you should have an understanding of some of that stuff when and as you get started. So why should you learn React? Well, the author gives you here, literally, the author gives you about, 5 different reasons. 3 different reasons why you should learn React. Number 1, it's popular. It is. And it's good news for all of you, especially those of you who will be graduating soon. It's popular, but not a lot of people are really proficient in it. There are a lot of jobs available in it. All right. So as it says, a lot of the tooling that's done today using React is using React at its core. It'll probably come up in a job interview. So, as it says, React promotes good development practices, including code reusability and component-driven development. Now, if you say, I don't know what that is, you'll have at least a partial understanding of that as we go on and get going in here. So there's different ways to install React. Probably the easiest way, I'm going to actually just show you this right now. And that is, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to create a very simple app. I've got one here called To Do that I've been working on for something else. But I'm going to create a folder here. In fact, I don't even think I need to create a folder. I'm going to call it To-Do List App. I don't think I've got one called To-Do List. How about just, well, we got here one called React To-Do App. We'll call it React To-Do List. Okay, so one of the easiest ways to do this is to come out here, get into Git Bash right here. And again, I want to follow their steps. Sorry about that. Hello?
Hey, it's Alex.
Okay. Great. Was there something in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you able to just patch it then? Okay. All right. Just waiting for my ride, and as soon as she gets here, I'll be there. Okay. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Bye. All right. Sorry about that. And I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to type in npx create React. Oops. What happened here? npx create React app, and I'll call it React To Do List, like that. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. Just that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in, and I'm going to hit enter. It's going to sit and spin. It says npx installed 67 functions, etc. Cannot create it because of naming restrictions. Name can no longer contain capital letters. Okay. So we'll go back and everywhere we've got a capital letter in here, we'll change it to a lowercase. Not a problem. Whoops. Let's try that. So we now got React To-Do List, all in lowercase. Hit enter. And now it says it's creating it. Now it says here it might take a couple of minutes. I've got a pretty good internet connection, so it really shouldn't take too long. But I think what I'll do, even though it's early, I'll wait until this completes. All right, and I will start back up with the next tape as soon as this is finished. All right, that looked like it took about 3 or 4 minutes. Now let's see if I've got a new folder here. There is a folder right there called React To-Do List. So that's been created, and notice what's in here. It's got a node modules folder. It's got a public folder. It's got a source folder. It's got a package.json, a package lock.json, and a README file. Let's quickly look at the package.json. So what I want you to see is it's not real long. It's 38 lines. All right. And it's telling me for the dependencies, what is it loaded in here? Just DOM, React, user event, React, React DOM, React scripts, and web vitals. All right. So notice that we've actually got a start in here that if we run node start, I think it is, let's see what happens. So I'm going to come into here and I'm going to do my CD to React To-Do list, and now I'll do my npm start. All right. And here's the beginning of my project. It won't look like much. Okay, there it is. Now notice it also that it says edit source app.js to save and reload. Well, so again, what they're saying there is that's what you'll want to do. All right. That's the file that you'll want to go change. Now, when you run this create React app, it downloads the most recent version, the most recent release of create React app, and then it immediately removes it from your system. So as it says in Mr. Cope's write-up, you never have to worry about having an outdated version. All right. So we've run it. And I already showed you what's in there. All right. And we ran the npm start. And there's what we saw. Again, I wouldn't say that it's anything really gee whiz or whatever, but it's a start, right? And we didn't have to write anything to do that. And it says now you're ready to work on the particular application. All right. So let's stop right here and we will probably almost finish it up on our next tape in just a couple minutes.